in the hands of middle-class parents, it just meant more pressure to stimulate baby at every turn so she won't be left behind. For 1-year-old Abigail, Saturdays are busy. She has swimming lessons and gymnastics, even though she can't yet walk on her own.
I just want to put her into the experience as much as possible.
It's a constant barrage of stimulation when in fact children don't need that. Children are hardwired to seek out the stimulation they need to knock their brains into shape.
1, 2, 3.
If only we would just back off a bit and give them the time and space to explore the world on their own terms, to play, to stimulate themselves, they would thrive much more.
I know it tickles, doesn't it?
These 4- and 5-year-olds have just completed junior kindergarten at Core Education and Fine Arts School in West Vancouver, a school that takes early childhood education very seriously.
The children that graduate from our school, what they have in common is that all of their parents are really, really interested in their education.
The curriculum is play-based and includes core subjects like reading, writing, and science, along with classes in fine arts, fitness, and yoga. More prep school than preschool, and there's a 3-year waiting list.
Normally parents start signing up when their baby X is in the womb, so we have a lot of baby X applications.
So graduation is the culmination of a dream. A parent's dream.
Kind of, nervous, jittery, excited, but more than anything, proud.
Okay, we'll get one teacher over here.
Parents believe that the right preschool will lead to the right high school, the right university, and ultimately, the right life. Once you buy into the logic, it's hard to question the price.
For an all-day service, our fee is $1,200 per month, including lunches and field trips and everything that we do.
Good job.
So, what are we doing?
We are reading a story about...
Sanaz Esfahani gave up her career in the real estate business when she became a mum. It means a big drop in family income, but Sanaz is happy to make sacrifices for her children.
When you make that decision to become a parent, you sort of have to provide, and it's all about providing the best for your children.
Marker or pencil?
So why am I deciding?
Because you're the mom.
Do moms always make all the decisions?
Layli just graduated from that high-end junior kindergarten. Now, Sanaz is struggling to get her daughter enrolled in the right school.
2 years in a row, we applied to the same few private schools and got the rejection letters. How do you tell a 5-year-old that you're going for a 1-hour assessment, right, to see if you have the proper social skills, the adequate academic skills, to be accepted to a private school? Why should there be an assessment for a 4 or 5-year-old?
Lights out.
Let's go, Lay.
Off we go.
Off we go. Bye-bye. Come on.
Without the desirable private school placement, Sanaz is still determined her daughter will have an enriched school experience. So every day she drives Layli from their home in downtown Vancouver to French immersion kindergarten in a more affluent neighborhood.
I figured, learning a new language, a huge world of opportunities out there awaits you because you get to communicate more and basically go further in life.
3 hours later, Sanaz picks Layli up to shuttle her to one of her extracurricular activities.
Au revoir, madame. Au revoir. À demain. I'm in my car all the time. It's my second bedroom. My trunk has extra juices, extra outfits. Now it's not as much as it was last year. We cut back a little bit, but right now she's going to gymnastics once a week. She has her private piano lessons, and she's got ballet.
The Anna Wyman School of Dance is one of the most prestigious ballet schools in the country. For Sanaz, that's important.
It's your kid. You can't settle for less, right?
Sanaz readily admits that there's a lot of competition among the parents.
And the first thing that everybody asks one another is, oh, what activities is your daughter in? What sort of classes is she registered in? As a new mom with Laylee, I was just kind of in a bit of a frenzy. I'd come home, I'd be like, okay, I've got the community center, I've got this music school, I've got that music school, I've got this gymnastics center, so it's just crazy, you know. To be honest with you, I'm still doing that today, because I'm thinking of, okay, next term, what are we going to do? Are we going to continue with the same activities, you know? Hello.
The kids pick up on their parents' need to compete, and they start doing it too.
Because she says, oh, my friends from last semester are now in TAP as well. And it's all from us. We're the ones who've kind of projected that. They become like a mini you.
So we become victims, I think, of peer pressure. So even when we can feel in our bones that it would be good to ease off, to put less pressure on our kids, we're afraid to do it. We're ashamed because we're worried about that arched eyebrow from the alpha mom in the playground, you know, the disapproval of the neighbors, that feeling that if we step off the crazy train that somehow everyone else will look down on us, and that keeps us going.
Parental anxiety is high because they think that their kid's going to be left behind. They think it's become so competitive that there won't be a job, that there won't be a place in the world for their kid. The kinds of things parents are always worried about. But there is a multi-billion-dollar industry out there that's feeding this.
Industries like tutoring have taken off during the last few years. 1 million Canadian kids now have tutors, and it's not because they're falling behind. The majority are already bringing home A's and B's.
I'm a fish that has sharp teeth and eats fish. A shark!
Like 1 in 3 Canadian parents, Roxanne Chemich and her husband Andrew pay for tutoring for 5-year-old Zachary and 3-year-old Azarius. Twice a week, Roxanne brings them here to Oxford Learning in Toronto's High Park. Azarius is in the Little Readers program for 3 to 6-year-olds.
What is this one?
Table.
Zachary has graduated to one-on-one tutoring. He's here to boost his English since his first language at home was Ukrainian. His parents want him accepted to private school, and they know he'll have to compete for one of the coveted spots.
On the first letter.
You got it. I think it's the competitive environment of schooling right now has just gotten, I mean, it was always there, let's see, when you were in high school, still even when I was growing up, and in college and university. But it's just kind of trickled down to the earlier years as well now.
This competitive environment means that the child's success is the parent's success, and educators are feeling the heat. Daryl Wakeham has been teaching in Vancouver for more than 30 years. He's had his share of run-ins with anxious, overbearing parents.
They'll have a son who has 98%, and then they'll say, what happened to the other 2%? They'll actually be phoning teachers every 2 or 3 days. How can his scores improve? How can he get better grades?
A few years ago, one of Wakeham's students created this shadow box representing the pressure he felt to excel.
You build a child who is continually in an anxious state, you'll find that the child will lie, will make up stories, the child will cheat simply because they can't accept failure.
Students, applicants, parents, welcome to Simon Fraser University Information Evening.
This information session is a chance to see what the university has to offer before you apply, or before your kid applies. There are 3,000 people here, and half of them are parents. Hovering parents are changing how universities operate.
The parent will be the one asking the question. The parent will be asking, what do I get? What do I need to do? How do I register?
So you need to check the email.
And can we also phone and see if we have been offered?
Yeah, definitely. You got my email address and you got my phone. Definitely give me a phone and I can see what I can do.
I like to talk on the phone.
No problem. You got my phone number.
When I went to school, there was much more of an uneasiness from the student side to have the parent involved. It was, my grades are my business, I will pay for my own school, I'll do it on my own, leave me alone. Whereas what we're seeing now is much more of a desire from the student to have their parent involved.
Universities and colleges across the Western world have reached the same conclusion: to reel in students, hook their parents. And it's put pressure on school budgets. There are websites for parents, newsletters, and staff liaisons whose job it is to manage the parent who must know everything.
I'm still, to this day, flabbergasted by the number of times that students give their parent the student number, their login, and their full information so the parent can go in and see their grades, see their academic standing, their financial standing, check their email at any point in time.
Adolescence has always been a period of rebellion, and why these kids aren't pushing back is stunning to me. So I think they've been so hyper-parented for so long that they've internalized this hovering parent, and that feels kind of like home to them.
Coming up, when hyper-parented kids leave the nest, it's hard to fly carrying the weight of high expectations.
I think it's mostly the pressures of pleasing the people that I care about in my life, of not wanting to disappoint them.
And some parents follow their children right into the workplace.
We've even heard of instances where parents have tried to negotiate salary for their children.
Orientation Week at Seton Hall University in New Jersey. In a few months, these first-year students will be leaving home for the first time. They get a taste of their new world while parents get a lecture. Your kids are safe. Time to back off.
This generation is known for having parents that tend to hover.
I think parent orientations just started to come on the scene maybe 20 years ago, and back then parents sat very passively and were grateful for the information and pretty much let it go at that. Now they come in with expectations, with demands. A parent will call if there's a roommate conflict. The parent will call if the son or daughter is having trouble with the chemistry class.
What we're starting to see is the Black Hawk parent. This is the helicopter parent on steroids. The Black Hawk parent doesn't call me. The Black Hawk parent calls the president's office, says they want something done about that darn chemistry professor today, and if it doesn't happen, the next phone call will be from the lawyer.
One of the things that I think is important about an orientation program for parents is that it begins to teach parents to let go. They've never had to do this before. So we are teaching the parents as well as the students how to take that next step in that phase of their lives.
The campus at the University of Victoria buzzes with nervous energy as 900 first-year students start moving into residence.
How about if I roll it? And I'll pack it properly?
Yep.
Okay.
David McLeod is a first-year UVic student, or at least he's about to be. The campus is about a 3-hour drive from home.
I am really excited. I can't wait to live on my own. You know, have the freedom. No one has to know where I am all the time. All that fun stuff. I'm sorry. Nothing against you.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I'm happy for him, but I'm just not so happy for Keith and I.
The job of parenting is always independence, not dependence. That's the job of parenting. You haven't done your job if by the time your child leaves home, they're dependent on you for navigating the world.